knowing that it's the biggest kind of, it's the thing that is the least detected because it feels good, and it's the thing that we don't really pay attention to, but it is called one of the 5 poisons. And if you compare it with the 5 wisdoms, you see, the thing is, the energy is good to have, like self-confidence, but when ego comes in, then it is the problem. So if you look at the 5 wisdoms or the 5 Buddha families, those ones who are familiar with it, is like arrogance, is what is miserliness, and so it's the wisdom of equanimity. It's Ratnasambhava. So if you are familiar with this, sometimes it's really good you can do meditations that are connected to these 5 colors or 5 Buddha families, and then think about purifying that specific one, right? So the wisdom of equanimity means also, Ratnasambhava means kind of, I'm not, we all have Buddha nature. At one point, I think also pretty much the beginning, somebody told me, well, you're quite arrogant talking about you have Buddha nature and all this. I said, why? I'm not getting arrogant about having a nose. Everybody has Buddha nature. Mm-hmm. So this is it. But the sad thing is that if we don't know it, we're not looking for it. Right, or if we look, we look in the wrong place. Okay, so then here is like these 3 keys, which is the first one is simplicity. Means to have the courage to be who you are. Oh, it's like, this sounds really nice, but who are we? Yeah, who are we? Exactly. So we cannot walk around the world being confused, not knowing who you are. But at least not to pretend, just as I said, when you play with your children, you are sometimes games, yeah? You are sometimes losing on purpose. No problem. But you would never do that with the person you dislike. Then it's like the competition and all this. Now, whether this is a good thing or not, to when you play with your kids to lose on purpose, I don't know, because then you don't teach them that it's okay to lose. Yeah, so because then they only want to play if they win. So with the with the 2 boys of my ex-boyfriend, they had a period. Now they love each other. They're all going towards their 40s. So, but when they were teenagers or smaller, even like maybe 8 and 10, they hated each other. And they would play with each other. And if I would play with them, I would always win because they were only concentrated on each other, that the other one would not win. And then so I said, look, this is really boring kind of playing with you guys, because it is as if I'm not present almost. And then they got some pocket money, and they really liked the money. It was very little, like €2 or something like that. So I said, look, and they would get so angry at the other one when he would win, like real kind of rage on him. So I said, okay, we'll do like this. Whoever loses and doesn't get angry, I give you €2. The conflict, the inner conflict that they had, wanting the €2, but not wanting the other one to win and all this. It was really interesting to see. So it's good to see, especially in children, that sometimes we behave the same way. Yeah, that there's this competitiveness and these kind of things. So, so they say here, if I'm arrogant, at the moment, I'm not giving my best without any agenda, but I want to go to the top. This is also good to see. We have moments when we give our best. We have other moments when we don't. So then again, just if you think about yourself, it's really good to see when you give your best, then you're happy with what you're doing. Nobody is happy doing a shitty job, even if it's, like a bad job. What I mean. We are very happy when, also to see that doing things for others makes you very happy if you want to do it. So doing things for others is not a problem. It's only when we feel forced to do it or when we reject doing it, then it becomes a problem. So you can change perspective. Again, think about long run. The long run, when it's done, I'll be very happy. And we all know how it is. Now you want to do something meaningful, the ego says, it's too difficult, now I'm tired and all this, and then maybe you don't do anything and you rest the whole day. You're not satisfied in the evening unless you sleep or you do something that really helps you being tired. But usually I spent the day with useless stuff. And then, but if I give myself a push, and say, oh no, come on, it's the good thing that I always, if I have to lead, I have to turn up. I cannot say, oh, I don't feel like it, I'm not going. Again, it's not a happy mind. It's, to be really clear what you want and what you don't want, and that creates, to be simple, again, not to be so complicated. And whatever, if you have to make a choice, well, we don't know. You can choose this, you don't know what's going to happen, and you choose this, you also don't know. So don't kind of push it in front of you again. Make a decision and then go with it, and that's it. You will see. You feel really, really liberated. But if you try to find the best solution, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Yeah, but of course, if something big changed, then there's fear. Of course, but fear is only about something that will happen in the future. Once the future is the present, the fear is gone because you can act. So many times, we carry this fear with us for something that we think or that we know will happen in the future, but we cannot react. So the fear cannot go away. Yeah. And then we all know, then when the situation comes, you react to it, you do something, and that's it. It's not as bad as you thought. Yeah, so that's a good thing also to be really clear about this. Okay, then it is difficult for me to, if I'm arrogant, okay, talking about me, to take criticism. Do you think it's true? Do we like criticism? Are we afraid of it? Yeah. I mean, if we're really honest, I am. So if I'm really honest, it's like, that's it. It's as simple as that. It's not complicated. I don't like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I might say, whatever it is that disturbs you, please let me know. But I still don't want to hear it. But it's okay. If then I get defensive, you can say, hey, but you said, so please. But be careful, this is it. Before we say something like so open and so courageous, make sure that you're ready to hear whatever the person has to say. And also don't forget, that is the person's view on you. And you will not be able to change it by trying to explain. Nobody can see what's going on in my mind. Nobody sees my intention. And the same thing, I don't see other people's minds also. Yeah, so it's tricky, but we're so ready to educate other people, isn't it? The only thing we have to educate in Buddhism is ourselves, so that's good. That's quite simple. So to be simple means giving up this complicated self-defense, to have the courage not to be anybody special, just normal with all the natural qualities. To be simple makes us flexible. We can also from time to time leave the place in the sun to others. Well, here it would be, we can also leave the place in the shade for others. It's not so much the sun in this country. I become very flexible to serve or to lead. There's this beautiful, in this third chapter, I think, of the Bodhicharyavatara of Shantideva. It's so inspiring, this attitude that he says, may I be a lamp for those who need a lamp, may I be a bridge for those who need a bridge, want to go to the other shore. May I be a medicine for those who need medicine, may I be food for those who need food. And then it says, may I be a servant. Now I'm being really kind because the original says, may I be a slave for those who need a slave. How does that make you feel? You see, we might end up as a slave. not wanting it, then we'll really suffer. Yeah, but you're slaves to your children. Yeah, look all the money you spend on. Wow, you would have to work much less if you wouldn't pay, I guess.
Slave to desire and attachment. Slave to desire and
Yeah,
attachment.
exactly. So we call it love, but it's because it's my children or my grandchildren and this and that. So may I be a slave? Try to taste this. Then you become really nobody. And try to see that there's a lot of freedom in that. So whatever task you need to do, you will do. And then at one point somebody said, but if I'm a slave to somebody, how can I benefit others? You can benefit very much by doing that work. Of course, it's very noble, the bodhisattva who leads others to enlightenment, but the slave who is cleaning the caca, it might be more wanted at that moment when somebody needs caca to be clean. Yeah, so it's strong, when he says that. But you can feel like, for example, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and I'm sure Gachin Rinpoche also, and all the other teachers that we know, their life is for the benefit of others. And you think that they feel exploited? They're happier when you come and want more teaching. I am not, you see, because why? Because I'm not a bodhisattva. I aspire to be a bodhisattva. I want to be left in peace. So that's it. Yeah. So then, this is what it is. So it's like, so by me saying that, it doesn't mean I can do it, but it means that this is the direction I want to go. To be able to give whatever is needed at the moment. If you ask me to clean the windows, no problem. I'm really good at cleaning. So, and I love it. I don't like it if it's for myself, but if it's for somebody else, because I have an immediate result. It was dirty, now it's clean. I sit down, meditate. Not so much. So this is, this is what I'm thinking. Anyway. So then if I work to be simple, I can be led, but I'm also ready to lead when needed. Even though I was very rigid before, now with this simplicity, we can flow with the situation. I can go along with others. And if you live alone like me most of the time, you lose a little bit that flexibility. Yeah, because you can always do what you want. Yeah, so this is why having to live with friends or being long time with somebody and this and that, then that will make your flexibility. The thing where I'm flexible with, I'm never in my own home. So then I don't change anything. Whatever is there is good enough. That kind of flexibility you get if you don't have your own home. So that's also not so bad. So then, so that's that one, be simple. Does that talk to you? Can you relate to that a little bit? Also when you don't feel well, or just to say, or not to pretend, basically. Yeah. The next one is devotion, which kind of brings arrogance down. Devotion means devotion to something. So in this case, it's devotion to the Buddhist path, wanting to attain full awakening, which needs perseverance. But if the devotion is there, then it's absolutely no problem. But we're very devoted to our own pleasures. There also we can spend a lot of time about getting a lot of resources and these kind of things. But in this case, it's a form of heart opening to trust somebody who knows the path better than us. And that would be the Buddha, or you choose a guru or a teacher, not me, okay? So, because this why, I'm not realized. And so I intellectually, I can talk about these things. I can say also in these 35 years, I've made some progress, because otherwise, come on, But 35 years is nothing. See, it is very little to work with the mind, to really be able to be open-hearted, although I want it, but sometimes I'm not. Then, so that's a good remedy for pride, to admit that it can be also a worldly thing, you know, to admit I need help, I cannot survive alone. Yeah. And also when we make mistakes, that also is a good antidote to arrogance. Usually they say when you think you're so clever, then start to think about, you know, I don't know how many, 72,000 channel and energy channels we have in the body, to know their names, to know where they are, which a Tibetan doctor would probably know. And, you know, to read the winds in them and all this. So just think about all the things we don't know. Of course, we know there's always people that know less than I do, and other people that know more than I do. But we can stop reacting to that in such a strong way. So when pride dissolves, we'll still continue to develop qualities, and we notice that they cannot come out of self-identification. We recognize that these qualities come out of Buddha nature. I stopped calling it Buddha nature because otherwise people think it's only for Buddhists. It's the pure nature of your mind, your own innate natural goodness that everybody has. Yeah. So, because if we start to believe in it, because sometimes it seems that not can't be that everybody, because some people seem to be really bad and so self-concerned and absolutely not concerned about others, but deep, deep, deep down they also are. And I think if we keep believing in that, we start to look for the goodness in people and not just remain on this covering of kind of self-concern and this and that. And when the Buddha says that suffering comes from self-concern, we can see it's really true. You know, we can see it very easy with other people. So it's very difficult to see it with ourselves. I have to take care of myself, I have to look after myself. Yes, but in a way that is more like long-term, not just short-term. Because if you're, you know, when you travel with a friend, have you ever traveled with a friend that you thought it is your friend, not your partner, that you thought it is your friend? How long does the friendship last? I see some people laughing. Now it's very funny. When you are traveling with the person who's very self-concerned and forgets about you, might also want to sit here or eat that kind of food or this and that. It doesn't last very long, and it's very painful. It's very painful. Then if you take Shantideva's attitude, well, you know, I be this, then you can go, well, okay. You know, she wants to sit there, let her sit there, that's fine. Because also this whole thing, you know, where we want to sit, the aeroplane, I also do it. On the aeroplane, this now, we try to find the perfect seat. I'm not sure, I never traveled first class. Maybe that perfect seat is in the first class, but I do think not even there. Isn't it? Yeah, so like that. Oh, you know, it makes things very complicated. And then we forget, I want to go from Tel Aviv to Zurich airport. Where I sit, it doesn't matter. We all get there at the same time. Then also, you know, just kind of rushing out of the airplane or getting on the airplane. And like this, really, I look at this and I go like, what is it? But I also feel the pull inside of me. I have to take that, wait. You know, getting out is kind of easy because we always have to wait until the suitcase comes, no matter where you sit, but kind of, that also depends, you know, try to adjust. I have hand luggage that can go under the seat, no problem. So even if everything is full up there, it doesn't matter. But of course, if you have a carry-on and all this and there's no more space, then, you know, it goes into the whatever, and people sometimes make huge problems, so let's not try to make fun about them. For them, it's important. You know, for them, it's very, very important. Yeah. So like this. So if you can adjust a little bit, when you know that there's a danger there, you might get upset and you never try to adjust and try to see if you can change the conditions a bit so that you're not getting upset. Because don't forget, all of these mental states create karma. even though we don't feel it immediately, but it does create karma. So I don't want to make you feel afraid, but don't underestimate the power of your mind, which creates the future. You know, as who says, I can't remember, the long rim anyway. They say, well, if you want to know what kind of actions you have done in the past, look at your present situation. If you want to know how it will be in the future, look at your present state of mind. So if we get upset about every little thing, you know, I had one point I had a guy next to me that he had paid for hand luggage, I don't know, something. And then, yeah, he was late and the flight attendant was not stewardess anymore, don't know why, took it away and he got so upset and he got so angry and I can't remember how I made him relax. And I think I said, I'm going to Israel, I'll be there for 3 months. He said, what? I said, yeah. And I think that made him feel a little. Are you Jewish? No, no. No, it was something different. And he looked at me and then all of a sudden said, oh, you're the Buddhist, aren't you? So I said, yes. And then he said, wow, you know, Buddhists are really nice. I said, okay, yeah. So that kind of distracted him a bit from the suitcase. I said, why? I said, because we were in Lucerne, and you know, we have so many tourists in Switzerland in these places. It's like, it's like almost more than people living there by now. And so they were looking for a place in a restaurant, and I know who it was, by the way. There was some monks doing mandalas, Tibetan monks. And then there was nothing free like here now in the restaurant. Have you seen the amount of cars? I don't know where they put all these people. It's nice. It's really great that it worked so well because they weren't sure at the beginning what it would be kind of, you know, to invest the money and all this. It's really nice. So anyway, so then they hadn't quite totally finished, but they called them over and made them sit down. They gave them their place. So there you go. You know, if they would not have gotten up, then you wouldn't have thought of Buddhism. Buddhists are nice people. And so on the plane, it was before the war. It was like 2 years ago on the plane. There were also some Muslims somehow that came from a pilgrimage or something. You could see how they were dressed. And then he kind of pointed to them and he said, this is how it should be. We should be able to travel on, you know, to live together like now we're traveling on the same plane. I thought, yeah, then the war came. So that was before. Okay, so devotion is the humility not to stand in the way of goodness and whatever I need to be right now. To be a bridge, a boat, and so on. To be exactly what beings need. This is humility without a fixed opinion. I serve and help whenever I can. The German word for humility is Demut. So it has the word Mut in it, which is courage. Yeah, the ego doesn't want to be humble. You're a friar when you're humble in this country, unfortunately, isn't it? It's not a form of courage to give the place to the other person. People you love, yes. People you don't like, no. Then you fight, and it creates so much suffering, and it creates so many problems. Even if there's no outside problems, this kind of competition here. So we used to have courses, you remember, that were called How to Be the Happy Friar. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much. Again, you only need to decide that you want to give the place. I was over in Butcher at one point, he said, oh, you should have seen the people who are in a couple. He said, in a couple, if one of you is flexible, that's enough. So then they say, well, it's easy for you to talk because you're not in a couple. So, yeah, but it's true. I mean, he's right. But yeah, we want to be the helper, but we don't want to be the server. Yeah. So this is why also when this woman kind of pointed it out to me about arrogance, Buddha nature, wanting to be of help to all beings, then I started to notice only then, Lama Yeshe, he never said, I want to help. He always said, I want to serve. You can train the mind. You know, you can really train the mind. It makes you very flexible. Doesn't mean you become the rag where people will walk over you. They will start to appreciate it, actually, and then really value you. Yeah. But this fear of being exploited, where does it come from? If you want to give, you need somebody who takes. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Huh?
What's the difference between help and serve?
Well, help is, I decide, okay, I help you. Serve, I have no choice.
But I think there's
It's
another
my
difference.
job.
When you help someone like he needs, I give you some. And when I serve, like he use me.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like more
This one is being
looking from
exploited.
up and down.
Yeah, I don't want to be the server. I want to be the helper, because to a helper you say thank you. To somebody who serves in a restaurant, I hope that you say thank you. I don't know how many of you have been serving in Israeli coffee shops. Is it easy?
No.
This one wants this milk, this one wants the other milk, this one wants big foam, this one foam but not so much foam, this one that. Then you need to remember all this. You need to convey it to the barista who is making the coffee, and you come back with, you need to remember who said what. You want coffee if you go to the coffee shop. Why does it have to be so exclusive?
They're special.
Special, right? Special. So try to put yourself in the shoes of the person who is serving you the coffee. Try to think, if you can't, try to think, this could be my daughter's student who now is working here. How do I want her to be treated by the customers? That will help. That's a nice thought. Could be my daughter, yeah. And then the waitress will make you really good coffee. If you're really horrible, she might spit into it. Who knows? Yeah, well, be careful. Oh no, definitely she will not be a happy waitress. You know, I said sometimes people ask me, why do you go to this shop? They're not pleasant, they're not polite. I seem to be attracted to these people. And because also in Haifa, the ones from the vegetable shop, they were but an old couple, very grumpy. But I tell you, just going there 1 month and not arguing about the price, I know they overcharged me. It was more expensive than in Tel Aviv. But I didn't say anything. And before I left, I passed the shop and he waved at me. I mean, come on. You know, and to give him a happy moment, because when people are greedy, grumpy, working very hard, they are old. It's not so easy to work with vegetables and fruits because everybody wants the perfect fruit and not one spot on it and the freshness that you can have. And what are you going to do with the rest? So who do you think pays the price for all you wish for fresh stuff? It's you. Because they have to put up the prices. Yeah. So if you want fresh things, don't send me to the shop. I'm not the right person. I take whatever they give me. So this is it. But we created a really good relationship with this old couple. I was happy to go there. They were happy to see me. So I'll go there next year again. So it's nice. So then I seem to be attracted a little bit, also grumpy waitresses, grumpy taxi drivers is a grumpy, to try to make them happy, because their job is bloody difficult, you know. If we go with the attitude, they are here to serve me, we become very unpleasant people. If we go with the attitude, okay, you know, officially they're the one who serves, but in what way can I serve them? Like putting the dishes together. Sometimes in Switzerland they don't like, because it means I think they don't know to do that. So you need to know also. You need to know where you are and what is appropriate and what is not. If we are simple and natural, we are also humble and modest. Such qualities, gives you so much freedom. But no, because the ego doesn't like it. You know, the ego hasn't understood. It's difficult to be modest. It's very easy to be arrogant. But to be happy when you lose something, or to be, it's okay if they overcharge a little bit, so what? You know, this kind of feeling of, it's not just, so what? I have enough money to pay. Dharma friends, they give me so much money. Sometimes I have problems spending it on the things for the puja. So it's like, yeah, it's Dharma friends who sponsored the voluntary to save Haifa. Okay. Then friendship is very good. Really, friendship is good for against arrogance. Now, friendship in worldly terms means a friend is somebody who's good for me, right? That's what we call friends. Somebody who doesn't harm me, somebody who agrees with me, somebody who helps me if I need help, and all this. That's instinctively. Then we call these people friends. Sometimes people, not so much anymore, but people would present me and say, this is Rita, because it was many years ago. She is my friend. What? Your friend? You know, inside I didn't say anything. But is she calling me? I don't know. So if you, in your mind, you think that this person is your friend, ask them. As kids, we had this in Switzerland, we had these books where you would write a poem and put a flower or something. That meant that's a contract. You know, we're friends. So then at least you're sure. You wouldn't give the book to somebody that you didn't want to be your friend. You didn't give it to everybody in the class, only to the ones you like. Whereas now, as grown-ups, we don't make these. We're not clear. So if she thinks I'm her friend and I don't behave like her friend, she's terribly disappointed, gets angry. If I don't know I'm supposed to be her friend, I just, I don't think it happens, Then she gets angry if I'm not there to help her or to assist her or whatever. So yeah, but in Buddhist terms, friendship means I want you to be happy. Very easy. Everybody can be my friend. And if it's very kind of harming people and all this, we can still have friendly feelings towards them and think, may you have that kind of happiness that comes from being of help to others or from wisdom and compassion. That's still a very friendly feeling. May you be able to change your attitudes, your behavior, because as a Buddhist, you know where they're going to end up. Yeah, somebody, I think it was a Christian priest who said at one point, if you are a Christian or a Buddhist, you don't have to worry so much about other people. If they're really bad, as a Christian, God will take care of them after they die. If you're a Buddhist, karma will take care of them. You don't need to kind of, get angry at them, things like that. So friendship means I want to be of benefit to you, but don't be obsessive. Although if you feel that I don't need help and I say no, if I say no, I really mean no. So don't kind of, just to warn you. And there's other people like me, they like to do things on their own and this and that. And so you have to trick me into taking something that I don't want, like I wanted to take the train to Jerusalem, and then somebody else said, I said, no, I don't want to be driven by the car. I like the train, blah, blah. But then the person said, well, if I drive you, then it makes me visit my parents. Oh, how can I say no? So I said, yes. And it was a very pleasant car ride. Something like this. Yeah. So anyway, try to feel the other also sometimes, not just, but I want to help you. Try to feel the other person also what they want. If it's okay for them, not okay, this and that. Yeah. Don't take it literally, I want to serve. Some people don't want to be served. Yeah. So I see some people not, so that's good. Usually the ones who don't want to be served say, okay. And also, when they say enemy, a bodhisattva doesn't have any enemies, because in worldly terms, an enemy is somebody that kind of harms me or wants to harm me. And in Buddhist terms, an enemy is somebody I want to harm. So that's why you don't have enemies, even if you get harmed, because you understand karma. I still remember when Garchen Rinpoche came first time to Israel, it was in Tuval, and he sat on the throne and he said, hello, my name is Garchen. I've been in prison with the Chinese for so many years. It's my karma. No anger, no hate. You know, there's a very, very, very inspiring. We were all in tears when we watched the documentary about For the Benefit of All Sentient Beings. If you feel low, if you feel tired, if you feel like also in your Buddhist practice not inspired, that is not working, try to watch that movie. It's so moving of God, how he gives his life for the benefit of all beings, it's called, isn't it?
It's
Yeah. You find it on YouTube.
YouTube for free.
You find it on YouTube. And some of it was even done in Tuval.
Yes.
We were sitting there on the chair, on the table outside having lunch with him. So to meet others on the same human level is the perfect remedy for pride. So the same human level, if you feel that you have more qualities than the other person, that is not creating the same. So you have to be realistic. So take qualities that you have, the other person has, until it is not necessary anymore to compare. But the same human level is nobody wants to be harmed. Nobody wants to receive anger and aggression. Okay, then very clever people say, what about masochists? Yes, but they do it because they want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be safe, to have space in their hearts. Comfort, you know, these kind of things. We're all the same. So this is where we can meet on the same human level. So sometimes it kind of, when I get upset about somebody, and then I just think, wow, he or she, they just want to be happy, you know, and they're even more deluded than I am. So then I think, which can also be a form of arrogance, they're more deluded than I am. And I'm a very Buddhist practitioner. So you see how arrogance creeps in? Just to, even that, and they're more deluded than I am. How do I know? Could be a bodhisattva who is kind of trying to make me practice. Okay, so it means we show our own weaknesses, that I do have problems and do not stand above everything. Yeah? Very nice book about Pema Chodron is When Things Fall Apart. Yeah? To still continue. Very simple, you know, because sometimes we have a feeling that we stand with the back against the wall. There is no wall, there is only continuity. Sometimes it continues in a better way, sometimes it continues in a worse way, and this and that. And don't forget what I said, and I saw that some people were nodding. Before the 7th of October, you were not that happier as a society, as individuals. Don't forget. Happiness is not out there. Of course, it makes it very difficult now to live here. And as Tommy was saying, you know, that made her very sad. She was on the walk for women for peace or something like that. That made her very sad to see that. But it can also make you very happy. Don't give up. So I will go to the demonstrations this evening. I can't do anything. I just go and say mantras. And if you see me, you don't need to translate. I don't need to know what they're saying. I know that the situation is bad. It's good enough. I don't need to know all the details. And so it's okay, you know, like you can also be just content. I've tried to do something. I did. It's good enough. What comes out of it, maybe long term is very good, maybe short term is not, we don't know. But if you have enough energy to still go to these demonstrations peacefully, you know, not spreading more anger and more aggression, then do. It's a good thing. Yeah. I go, people are happy to see me. It's okay, you know, that's fine. So that's what I mean. And I was in that Neta Froni's memorial where some women from Watson Watch were there. They're all 95 and above, by now.
Yeah.
And of course, I could be totally deluded because I didn't understand anything. It was all in Hebrew. I said, no, I don't want translation. I just want to be here. And I found them very dignified. And not, we tried so hard and we went every morning to the day. But somehow to give off this feeling, okay, for many years, we went there, we stood there, we did something good enough. So it can also go in that direction. Because if you expect big results, nothing will happen. Maybe it will happen, I don't know. But definitely keep, you still have the right to go to say what you want. That right might disappear at one point, I don't know. But for the moment, you still can. We don't know. Yeah, things are impermanent, things change. There've always been wars in human history. It's very unfortunate. It's very easy for me to talk because it doesn't fall on me or on the country I have a passport from. So it's easy to say, oh, there's always been war, blah, blah. But when you are here, then of course it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Of course. Yeah, okay. So is that okay with the arrogance? We can slowly go into these 5 steps briefly, and then we go to jealousy. Yeah. So the first step is always, and that many teachers say, pause. Because when we not pause, we just act instinctively. We're not aware of what's happening. It's only later. It's only after. Yeah. Pause, and then you say, okay, I refuse to cooperate with my arrogance. We try to relax, to boast. We do not give in to its temptation. So arrogance is also when you tell a story about yourself, either you become really bad, like, I always exaggerate in my stories. I used to lie a lot when I was a kid, and everybody believed me, and I thought, this is fantastic. Until I met Buddhist teachings, and then I heard, when somebody believes you, it doesn't come from what you say now. It's not your ability to lie, it's from past karma when you told the truth. And I went, oh no, I'm destroying all that karma. But it's still a habit that I exaggerate when I talk. Yeah, and sometimes even now, small lies, when it's easier to lie, it just comes out. Small ones for me. But the opposite might be big one. I don't know. But at least I see it. This is where I see the tendencies and the habits, even though I don't want it, but still, And so pause is, you're aware of what's happening, and you refuse to cooperate. Then use helpful antidotes. So helpful antidotes for pride would be taking refuge. When we take refuge, we know what we want to be. I don't want to be this arrogant, stupid, know better than other person. Stupid, better than knowing better than other person doesn't fit. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. I want to become a fully awakened being who is putting people at ease. Yeah, so then that's taking refuge, knowing that I can't do it alone, knowing that I need these methods, and then being very happy that I have trust in these methods and have trust in my own potential to become a fully awakened being. So if you're not a Buddhist, I don't know. I don't know what kind of, where are we taking refuge? I tell you, chocolate, food, me is chips and burekas. I don't like the sweet things so much. So that's not, it's temporarily, yeah, okay, but it's not, or to just do sometimes also take refuge. How do I really want to be? Trying to see how you are, how you appear. How you would, if you take yourself out and you look a little bit what you're doing. Okay, then Tonglen is very good. But Tonglen, be careful. should never be done out of, wow, look at me, I'm doing Tonglen. So, yeah, because it can go that direction, you know. Take upon myself suffering, goes and can be, it's not like this, you know. Tonglen is not about you.
What is it?
Tonglen is giving and taking. So you see the suffering of somebody and you have compassion, may that person be free from suffering. When you breathe in, you think you're pulling it out of the other person, and you give it to your ego, who's creating all the suffering. We can do maybe one next year, maybe this we can do a Tonglen Saturday to really explain what it is. People ask me to do Tonglen this year instead of. Yeah, exactly. And I thought, oh no. Because you see, you go in steps until the person who hurts you, you take the future suffering of that person. I thought, yeah, I cannot teach them that. I don't know if it will be I'm sure it would not be beneficial. It's too much. So we did Tonglen with ourselves, of feeling bad about the situation, of feeling guilty about the situation, of feeling ashamed what is happening to the Palestinians and all these kind of things. And this they found very helpful. Because I said, you will feel that, if you feel it now, you will feel it tomorrow. So if you start doing this giving and taking, it is easiest if you already suffer from something. Because if you already have it, and since it's not about you, then might as well, it's more that the other person is free from it. Then you take the future self, the one from this evening, tomorrow, whatever, that this one, because it doesn't change the situation, feeling ashamed and guilty, that's the thing. But this is, again, very easy to say from me, not from you. But it should be, you don't want the situation to be like this. If you want the situation to be like this, then, well, yeah, whatever, what can I say? But most of the people who come to these talks, they don't want to be that the Palestinians are treated in such a bad way, this and this and this and this, right? So don't identify with that. I remember also at the beginning when I came, somebody asked me, oh, you're from Switzerland. What do you think about Swiss banks who took away all the money from the Jewish people, like, Second World War? So I said, I don't think that was a good thing. This is best, if you are outside there, somewhere outside of your country, somebody attacks you, immediately. Don't try to prove to them, like defending yourself, whatever, doesn't work. But just ask them, can you understand how I am very unhappy about this thing? But I also added, it's not a good thing, but I also understand that I benefit from it. Switzerland being a very rich country now. Definitely they benefited from it. I now. So it's good to also when somebody attacks you.
Bring us chocolate back.
I bring you chocolate back, right? No, but then also I told the other person, okay, look, I am one person, I'm an individual. I was born 1950, the war ended 45, so I know about the story, we hear about it, this and that. I didn't feel ashamed because I wasn't alive. And even if I would have been alive as an individual, what could I have done? If I have a bank, maybe yes. But if I don't have a bank, what is, So try to work with these feelings of shame and guilt because it only blocks you. Yeah, but not feeling ashamed and guilty doesn't mean you don't care. Purify your negative karma. Come and do your next year. Okay, so then Tonglen, taking, if you try to see the suffering, if you do it yourself, of the arrogant person. That people, do you like arrogant people? To be honest? No. So then that means if you are arrogant, people don't like you. Yeah, we do next year. How we do ourselves. Okay, you take the one from this evening or tomorrow because you keep holding on that feeling of shame and guilt. then you wish for this person, which is your future I self, you know, you wish that person to be free from that. And you breathe in that the feeling of tense and sad and ashamed and guilty. It's very good to go into these sensations because they're in the body, you know, so that you feel, oh, actually it makes me suffer. It makes me not a nice person, right? You take it and you put it on the feeling that you already have now. And when you breathe out that future self, whatever you would like that future self to have. Oh, you have to speak very loud because I don't hear one.
Actually, practice this thing with any kind of unpleasant feeling.
Yes.
Feeling you want to
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But also, if you just do it with no person, just for me to feel okay, again, it hasn't have any meaning. So give it the meaning why you should feel well. If you go out in the street, the people in the restaurant there, they're all very kind, very nice. You ask them, you want to be happy? They will say yes. You ask them why? But if you honestly say and have this attitude, I want to be happy because then I become then the goodness in my heart comes out.
Yeah.
And then it has a meaning. Otherwise, meaningless, you know. Otherwise, it's like, what's the point? One person being happy, so what? That also, you know, when you're so unhappy, you go, okay, I'm unhappy, one person. What's the big deal? I'm a one person. There's so many others there. But we take ourselves so serious. I have to be happy. So this whole attitude, I want to be happy to make others happy, at the beginning, it's totally fake, you know? But it can become genuine. This is the mind training to the perseverance, to do it again and again and again and again and again, until it works. Another good antidote is awareness of your own shortcomings without destroying yourself. You know, this is very good. We kind of criticize others, judge ourselves. If it helps you to grow, yeah, by all means. But if it just makes you more arrogant about feeling so bad or being such a bad person, then what's the point? Okay, then equanimity. That's the third step, you know, kind of putting ourselves in the shoe of others. So we continue to see that all beings are equally important and valuable. I don't have this attitude without training to me. But I want to have it. Yeah, I really want to have it. And if you listen to somebody giving talks, like Venerable Charles, who has this attitude, I mean, you melt. There's nothing, and you feel so inspired. No, nobody knows when he's not known outside of Lahore. But he's somebody who is doing very many of these nunes every year. I mean, he's a compassionate person. And when he says, you know, you take suffering as your friend to develop compassion, you start to believe it, that it's possible. You know, he has Lyme disease because he didn't want to take the tick off his body. Knowing that what will happen to him. He would have been unhappier taking the tick off than now to have Lyme disease. And he doesn't suffer. You see, he has pain, but he doesn't suffer. He is amazing, I tell you. Huh?
What is this?
What? Lyme disease is like you get some kind of meningitis when the ticks, you know, like,
Ah,
okay. Okay, so then now so we see that we're equally important and all this, not easy, can be done though. Again, you know, when I had to come and then the train didn't go and then I kind of almost violated the scribe by just opening the door. There was a woman sitting inside who works at the supermarket, which I didn't know. Now for me, she was, before I've been to this little supermarket many times. Whenever I take the train, I go and get coffee there in Switzerland. I never noticed her. Now I really, really hope I will recognize her to be able to say thank you. because without her having to go to work that morning and her brother-in-law brought her, I would have missed the plane to Israel because the train didn't go. So this is how immediately something changes. It's the same person. But I really want to go and say thank you. So I hope I will recognize her. Otherwise I'll ask them, the other ones, where's the Portuguese lady? Anyway, everybody is, when we recognize that people are very important, we need other people to become Buddhas. How are you going to practice generosity, ethical conduct, and patience? Now I got it in the right order. If there is no other people that you could hurt, or that you can, you can give things, or that will not hurt you. So like that. So everybody is equally important. Then the first step is always liberating arrogance into its true nature. So the way you do that, look deep into it. Directly seeing the proud I thoughts. Of course, if you try to find the I, the me, and you can't find it, then arrogance kind of disappears. But just looking at the emotion itself helps. Not feeding it, not feeling bad about it, not feeling good about it. Just feel it. Stay with the sensation, with the feeling. It is not here. Here there is no feelings. Here's only intellectual thoughts, which then we think we understand. We don't. It needs to be here, it needs to be felt, it needs to be experienced. Right. So then it disappears. Then it shows its true nature of being impermanent and being fed by thoughts. And then taking pride or taking arrogance as a path, that's the step for advanced people. This is possible when we know how to liberate arrogance in its nature, when you know that it's impermanent, when you know it's a dependent arising, right? Are you still with me somehow? Yeah, liberating it in its nature. From then on, we can manipulate into situations where arrogance gets stimulated, where a lot of people can see my skills or when my shortcomings are totally not noticeable. The moment arrogance arises, we look deep into it. This is probably something that we will have to do for the rest of our lives. It will not help to avoid situations where we are at our best and our pride gets nourished. So when you feel that it's a problem, that you feel better than others, that you have a tendency to put others down, then once you see it as your enemy, you go there. And then it comes up and you go, no. Yeah. And then we kind of, you see, the thing is, we have all these seeds. Yeah. If they don't ripen, they're still there unless you do very, very serious purification, like Nune. Or Vajrasattva. Yati is going to do Vajrasattva, no? Yeah, exactly. So that's a very good purification also. So please come. To flush out all these tendencies and habits. Don't worry so much about that. You're purifying future difficult situations. That's okay, they'll finish. But really concentrate on kind of, purifying tendencies and habits. So that's what is very important. So then you expose yourself to these situations. Like this, because if these imprints are still there, if they don't come up, they can never get dissolved. They need to be like seeds also. You need to actively do something with them. So it is better to work directly with it than to avoid it, and that goes for all emotions. We let pride consciously arise in order to every time see its empty, dreamlike nature. That's why emptiness is always a good word. When you're just saying, oh, it doesn't exist the way it manifests, like so solid and whatever. By the way, I see that people desperately are trying to take notes. with me jumping from one thing to the other. It must be hell. But what I can do, you know, all the things that I copied from this book, I send it to Netta, and then she can send it to you. It has all the 5 negative emotions on it, and then you can read it at home, quietly, practice like that, so we can stop now and go home. Okay, so what takes the breeding ground away? You understand the breeding ground, like the condition, is to see the nature of the subject with the I that is proud. When we see that this I does not really exist, that this thinker, this observer is empty, meaning does not have an essence that could be called I, then we know that all the qualities that pride does identify with does not belong to anybody. The qualities you have, they're not yours, because there's no I, there's no possessor of these qualities. They are spontaneously there and active and do not have an essence either. This realization will cut the root of arrogance. Here, the Google translated it with pride. Pride is very difficult to dissolve and might be active until up to the 8th Bodhisattva level. That is why we should not neglect it. We have to be careful not to become dogmatic. Now also this always, I forget to say, don't become too serious about this whole thing. Bring some lightness into it, like close-minded, and to think that we belong to an elite that owns all the wisdom. That's very dangerous for Buddhists. Really, you know, to have all the answers and this and that. As long as you haven't realized it, you don't have the answer. Then the practice is mixed with arrogance and jealousy and has nothing to do with real Dharma. To see this, one has to become aware that one's own arrogance, and with openness and one has to see one's own pride or arrogance, and with openness and awareness gets at it. That is the real discipline by which our practice gets deeper day by day. If we do not notice our arrogance, we get more and more tense and get angry very easily when in contact with others. This anger can, so, you know, anger can be frustration. Anger doesn't have to be exploding all the time, just an uneasy feeling where the heart is closed. Okay, good. Then jealousy and envy. We come to that one. I think the lamas usually say jealousy and what's the other one? I don't forgot. But definitely jealousy, I think maybe depression, are the 2 loser emotions, because it doesn't take anything away from the other person. Anger, you can drive somebody away. You don't want to have attachment. You get very clever how to get something. Jealousy is like, you know, it doesn't take anything away from the other person. Jealousy you can use it. You can also use arrogance, by the way, by seeing how much power other people have over you that you dislike, that you only need to hear their names and your joy of life has gone out of the window. And then you say, I don't want to let that happen. I don't want to let you do this thing. Then you can use your arrogance. It can be of some help. And again, if you do it for the benefit of all, then it becomes quite meaningful. Jealousy is a bit the same. You know, if you want to imitate somebody who is better than you and this and that, but you do it in order to attain enlightenment or, you know, become liberated, it can be a driving force. But if it just makes you sit there and not do anything, and just feel bad of not being able to enjoy the things that you have, then what? Then it doesn't. Then it's definitely not good. And like all these negative emotions, it distorts. It only sees one side. You know, it doesn't see the whole picture. So it arises when somebody else enjoys something that I call mine or would like to be able to call mine. Jealousy is often accompanied by envy. rivalry, and can be directed towards all kinds of situations and objects. So the antidote, of course, is rejoicing, but if it's somebody that you dislike, it's, well, how can you rejoice? You know, we can say it, but for the mind to go that way is still very difficult. And we're all plagued by it, isn't it? Why? Because we always, so quickly we feel not good enough. And if you don't have it, I mean, you have to ask yourself, maybe there's arrogance there somewhere. Yeah, so again, we have to find this balance between being happy about it ourselves, but also then put it at the service of others when you are okay, instead of just using it for yourself. But we all know how it is, you know, we all want to practice Dharma and apply these methods, I mean, most of us. Then when we are, this is the problem with people in Switzerland, they're too well. You know, they practice Dharma as a hobby because there's no real need. Unless you have, I'm not saying all the Swiss guys, you know, unless you really have understood the danger that we are in. Not in this life, maybe. We don't know. Maybe Putin goes totally crazy. He also attacks the whole of Europe. Who knows? You know, but we feel so protected. How do we know? Yeah.
They change every second.
Yeah. So then, anyway, but next life, you know, what will happen at the time of death? Or if I die with such a mind state, you know, if I don't have trained that kind of, the awareness comes instinctively, because at the time of death you cannot go through all the thoughts anymore. You don't have that capacity anymore. You know, I mean, you have been with dying people. The mental strength is almost gone. And then negative emotions can arise very, very, very quickly. So I always find when I'm with somebody like this, the best way to calm them down is to talk about the good actions that they did. Because they don't see it anymore. And it's a bit the same when you do long-term meditation retreats, isn't it? You know, at the beginning, what comes up? All the happy moments? Oh, no. All the things we did, you know, all the things when we harmed others, didn't behave like. So then also don't schlep that guilt with you now. If you have misbehaved as a kid, which I did, I heard many people, really. And you still feel guilty about this now. Now I would not behave like this. So why feel guilty? Why feel ashamed? It's just, you know, guilt and shame, we have to apply it before we do the action. No, afterwards it's too late. Yeah. And also, if shame gives you kind of the energy to become kinder, softer, this and that, then it's okay. But if it's just making you feel bad, and then the ego thinks, oh, it's good enough, look, I feel bad about it. It like doesn't make sense, right? So like that. So to really see when it comes down to jealousy, to first again have compassion for yourself, because it doesn't take anything away from the other person. It doesn't give you anything more than you already have. But still it's there, isn't it? So what do you do usually when you feel jealous? Go and eat chocolate, cake, my case, chips. I only had chips once, actually, my whole visit to Israel. I'm not so attached to it anymore, so I'm quite happy. So no need to bring any. And the ones in the packets, I don't even like them anymore. So it's good. So this is it also, you know, if you recognize it's not the cause for happiness, all of a sudden, you know, you're not interested in this anymore. So it's even, no, ice cream I never like. So it's too cold. So it's like, it's great, you know. Of course, these moments of wow, chips, and they're not there anymore. But it's a work. It's okay. Yeah. So don't think that to let go of these, that I want this and I want that, and I'll be extremely happy. It will be replaced with a different happiness, the happiness of freedom, of not needing it anymore. Which is really good. So people, the glasses of jealousy, people who are jealous tend to belittle the happiness of others in order not to suffer too much under their feeling of lack. That's when the Buddhist wisdom comes in the wrong place. Like, somebody's really happy, and then you go, yeah, don't forget, it's impermanent. Or, well, it's all empty. What are you making big fuss about? So this is very cruel. Yeah, so please don't rejoice when somebody else is happy if you can. So, so then there is a wish to destroy the happiness of the other, becomes very strong. This can go as far that the object of our attachment becomes the target, after the motto, if I cannot enjoy it, then nobody should enjoy it. This also we have, and it develops in Germany. They did some research on that. It develops when after 3 years and above. So they did some experiment that they had like here 3 candies and here 5 candies. And kids below 3, you tell them, look, you can have 3, but the other one can have 5. They don't care. They take the 3, no problem. When they're older, they say no. Because when it's somebody they dislike, of course, if it's their friend, because you think he will share it with me, or I don't know. And they did it with grown-ups with quite big sums of money. So in order for the other one not to have 10,000, you don't take the 5,000. Yeah, wow. When old people die and there's a lot of money around, it's terrible for the children. So, if you don't have much money and not much money to leave behind, don't feel bad. It's good to leave your children possession, the money, okay, of course. But if it's not there, don't feel guilty, don't feel bad. Think at least they will not fight about it. Because so many families spend the money on lawyers because of inheritance. I see many people not, so you seem to know what I'm talking about. So when we're jealous, of course, we cannot rejoice in what we have. And there's a lot of things you can read it. So the 3 keys are honest communication. So he actually encourages somebody, if you're jealous of somebody, oh, you're really tired, isn't it? Why don't you lie down and sleep? It's okay, but let yourself fall asleep is fine. Don't fight it.
I enjoy to hear you.
Yeah, but you know all these things anyway.
I still enjoy it.
Okay.
And you said the last teaching.
Well, when I was just there, we're going to do Tonglen's next year. So. Okay, so honest communication, open and direct, prevents from falling into jealousy. We are transparent, not intriguing behind the back of others. That's another thing that we talk about, the back of other, like people are not there. We tell somebody else, they're not good, they're this, they're that. Why? I mean, it doesn't change them. And also the other doesn't really need to know, because we can influence people, how they think about others. And we forget it's just my view. Yeah, it's like, well, then it's really good to question that. Why do I have to criticize other people when they are not there? Why do I say something that I would never say if the person is present? Or top of it, like maybe here, you think everybody is gone, and you're still here with one person, and you go blah, 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 about another person, and then all of a sudden a person comes out. How would you feel? Then if you feel bad, then okay, next time I really try to not do these things. But we seem to get so much pleasure out of it. Try to see the pleasure when we do it to make us feel better, when we kind of belittle others. And if you feel that somebody's doing that to you, you feel not friendly towards that person. You're not thinking, oh great, so finally somebody says the truth. Now I know how I am. You know, you go like, I'm not like this and not like this and that. Don't forget the way I see people. I don't know, you know, but my ego is so quick to judge and to put them into a certain category. And then I block a good relationship with them. But I do it, and I see that I do it. And I work against it. Very often it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But I see how stupid it is. You know, this is the thing about the Dharma. Intellectually, we understand very, very quickly. But then still we behave or react in totally different way. So when I said this with the hands, actually, what I wanted to say, okay, so we have our intentions like this and our behavior like this, and as we practice, it becomes like this. There's only two categories of people where it's like this. Intention and action the same. Two categories. You know who they are.
Which
The Buddhas, of course.
Babies.
Yeah, baby, I don't know if they have intentions this week. No, I mean, people who can really have aspiration. One is the Buddhas, they have good intention, they want to be of benefit, and they are. The other ones are the people who think the bad things that they are doing are good. Their aspirations and behavior is the same. So we can at least be happy that we're like this. Because, you know, like it's not the same. So, because through conditioning, very quickly you become like this. But instead of judging them, understand we are what we are through many, many, many influences that not just from this life, on top of it, if you're a Buddhist, but from many, many past lives. Yeah, then again here is attempting to be normal. Wow, he really encourages to be normal. What does he mean normal?
Simple.
The norm, right? Yet, Tsongsa Khyentse Rinpoche says, so why do I tell you these names? Even if you don't know who the people are, so you know the wisdom is not from me, right? It's because I heard it. And some stuff sticks, kind of. The only being who is normal is a fully awakened being. Because they're like this. Good intentions, good actions are like that. Yeah. So even these ones who want to do bad and who do bad, you know, aspiration and action is the same, still they can be taught goodness. Do you see what I mean? So try to believe in that. If people have the conditions, the karma is right, they can change their behavior in this life, next life, I don't know. But the potential, the nature is always good. So normal means, you know, do you have moments where you feel normal?
Like ordinary or normal, because there's a difference, you know.
Ordinary means what?
Well, an ordinary being and a normal being.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing? Okay, so when during moments I forget about the ordinary. Ordinary is the same, it's like the norm. Like many, almost. So do you have moments where you can say, I feel normal? Okay, Ruth is nodding. So how do you feel, Ruth, when you feel normal? The norm. The norm.
How does it feel?
Yeah, how do you feel? You know, like good, bad, tense, open, spacious, very tight.
Not amazing.
Not amazing. Then that's not what I'm talking about.
Nothing disturbs at that moment.
Yeah, so how do you feel? Yeah, good. Open, spacious. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be anybody special. You just normal. It just flows. I have moments like this when I sit here and I repeat the words of wise masters. Then I feel it's something, it makes sense, it's something beneficial, and I don't have to be proud about it. So we have no moments like that. So normal means when we feel like this, we also have an open heart. We have zero wish. We have zero wish to harm. when we feel like that. And that's normal. Then we feel our nature. And if we can help, we help without making a big deal. If it's not too expensive or too difficult, takes too much time, and this and that, right? So that's why the Buddha is normal, because the wish to harm others is not normal. The wish to be wanting to be of benefit to them, that is normal. That's a normal human quality that we have. And then we feel happy. But the problem is we limit ourselves to just a few people. Now, I'm not saying you should go out now and go home and help everybody. I'm not saying that. But whoever comes and you can help, you help. No big deal. That's what it means, right? And we recognize it ourselves when we get very angry at somebody that you like. If you don't like the person, you don't care so much, is it? But if you like the person, you feel bad about it. We even say, I'm so sorry, it wasn't me, or I didn't feel normal. Has it ever happened to you? That you feel that when you're totally out of it, you're not saying, oh, that's who I am. You actually say, oh, I'm really sorry, because you feel it's not normal. So that's why a fully awakened being is the only normal, are the only normal beings. Yes, Priya.
I think the problem with the word normal, like if I talk to people that to stop being angry, they say, yeah, but it's normally to be angry.
Yes.
Everyone
Yes.
is angry, so it's normally just, and then normal, it's not always will be like for the goodness, because people will say, okay, if you're all dumb, it's normal to be dumb.
Yeah. So that's it. Of course, you know, if you do not examine how your difficult emotions feel, they feel normal. It's me, that's it. You know, if you're not examining it then. But if you really start to examine it and to look at it, maybe you should say natural. We feel the most natural when everything flows and we are connected with others. When we're really connected with others, or we were talking about, can't remember which one, when you paint, right? Also that you forget about yourself. Then the natural goodness and flowing and all this really comes up, and there's no feeling of I. Yeah, so this is what we are trying to get at. This is what we are trying to do. Okay, so then we have these 3 keys. Here is honest communication. Try to communicate with the person that you feel jealous about, or even the person that you feel is jealous about you. Don't feel bad. It's not your fault. It's not but also don't boast. Maybe tell them that you also have problems. You know, when people say, but they're so jealous about me, try to have some compassion. Jealousy is not a nice emotion. Don't judge them. Don't criticize them. Don't, as it says in Lojong 4th, 5th verse, whenever somebody is jealous of me, give them the victory. It's like, it's difficult to be kind to somebody who's jealous of you and doesn't want you to be successful and all this, but try to see their suffering. I really try to see their suffering. But if they don't want to, you see, an act of kindness can also be when you feel that they cannot stand you. Keep away from them. That's the biggest favor you can do to them. Don't try to be kind, showing. It's like they don't want your coffee. They don't want your chocolate. They just want you to get out of their way. Right? So sometimes to be open when you talk to them, to look at them into their eyes, which is try to see the difference when you dislike somebody or have aversion, somebody who's jealous and all this. When you talk to them, I'm humble and I cannot look into their eyes. When I like somebody, absolutely no problem. And I can force myself to look at them, and then the feeling instantly disappears. I seem to, with the being connected, I seem to see some kind of sameness. That's a very, very good antidote. Honest, direct communication. Now, okay, of course, here in Israel, people tell me, this doesn't work here. People will then take advantage of you, turn it against you. I don't know. know, try it out. Try it out. Also, we can know if somebody dislikes me, it's fine. I don't like everybody either, so why should nobody have the right to dislike? Yeah. And then here again, another antidote is equanimity and accepting to be normal. Then joy is a very good antidote to jealousy, but then we have to think about our own kind of good things that we have. This is again, the jealousy of others, there's not much we can do. I don't know if they're jealous. This is what I'm saying. If you open up and you're honest and you tell them your problems, sometimes we think people are full of themselves. Totally okay. Happens to me quite often. I see them in the group, this, that, all of a sudden, I walk with them alone in the street and then they start to open up. And then I see, oh, wow. And then also, I become kinder. So try to understand that if we're open towards others and we tell them our problems, don't be afraid. They will become kinder to us, I think. This is what I experience in me when somebody starts to, I'm not going, they're not as good as they behave or that. No, I see then compassion comes up and I see that they're having problems. Okay, so then, because I see people are getting tired here, they're falling asleep. No, we're not making a break.
Small. Break.
Huh? No, we go on 10 minutes and then finish.
Oh, of course.
It's okay. I told you, Netta, I did warn you. I say I never keep to the schedule, so we'll adjust. I see people nodding off, so it's kind of okay. But what I wanted to, because also this I will send to you, and this might be for people who have access to Tara. Tara is the female liberator, the one who liberates from all fears. So there is this, if you need to do pee break, just go, come back. Very simple, because the moment everybody gets up, who use up, it takes half an hour. Sorry. Some people are very happy about this and are noting, so I have some people on my side. Anyway, so Tara is the one who liberates from all fears, and they talk about 8 fears, and I have a very nice, very good commentary from Tufton Children, which is, like Tara says, for example, or how the first Dalai Lama made this, like the lion of pride or arrogance, the snake of jealousy, the thieves of wrong views, and so on and so forth. So I will just read, it's very short, like arrogance and jealousy, and then we do meditation, and then so the line of pride. So the the verse goes like this: dwelling in the mountains of wrong views of selfhood, puffed up with holding itself superior, it claws other beings with contempt. The line of pride, please protect me from this danger. So we're taking refuge. We are asking the Buddha, Tara, Medicine Buddha, whoever you feel connected to, taking the outside Buddha to wake up your own inner Buddha if you believe in that goodness. Say, please, I need help. Don't think because the Buddha is not an enlightened being, is not omnipotent, you cannot make requests. We ask for blessings all the time. This is why people don't like these practices, because it's religious. Wow, asking for blessings from the Buddha. Inspiration, you can change the world, whatever. Then it comes in the form of love. So she says, Tupton Churton says this time, as spiritual practitioners, one of the greatest dangers we can fall into is being proud. Many sad and damaging scandals involving spiritual practitioners have been unearthed in recent years, and this was written more than 20 years ago. Since then, I have this commentary, and in many of these, someone arrogantly thought he had reached a level of attainment that in fact he had not, and then engaged in unethical actions. We know, we have heard about these things. Just as a lion struts in mountain forests, our pride dwells in the environment of wrong views about the nature of I or self. Whereas the I is dependent, we apprehend and then grasp at it as existing independent of all other factors. This wrong view is the root of our suffering in cyclic existence. Holding an unrealistic view of how we exist, we compare ourselves with others. We become puffed up and proud over those who are inferior, jealous of those superior, and competitive with equals. This is also, that's then how we react towards others. Absolutely no equanimity, nowhere. Our pride begets contempt that is like a lion's claws with which we injure other living beings. These harmful actions perpetuate our rebirth in unfortunate states of existence. Meanwhile, pride itself prevents us from recognizing our horrible predicament in cyclic existence because we arrogantly think we are flawless. Thus, we fail to practice the Dharma and consequently develop no new good qualities while the ones we have deteriorate. The wisdom realizing the emptiness of inherent existence is the ultimate antidote to all 8 inner fears, but it seems the true nature of the self, that is this empty, for it sees the true nature of the self, that it is empty of any permanent or independent existence. However, since this realization takes time to generate and is difficult to gain, in the meantime, we use easier antidotes corresponding to each particular affliction. In the case of pride, one such antidote is to contemplate a difficult topic, such, as the 12 sources, the 18 elements, and so on. Another antidote to pride is reflecting that everything we know and every talent and ability we have comes from the kindness of others. None of it is mine. It's good to know these things. Yeah. If we are a good athlete, we have our parents and coaches to thank. Our artistic or musical talent blossomed due to our teachers who cultivated it. Even something we take for granted, such as the ability to read, comes through the kindness and efforts of so many others. So how can we be proud thinking that we have good qualities because we are somebody special? Now, here, if you're a Buddhist and you do this kind of practicing in asking Tara to save us from this danger, we are actually calling upon our inner Tara, the seeds of our own wisdom and compassion. As these qualities gradually grow, they protect us from the damage our pride can inflict upon ourselves and others. So these prayers, there's also prayer to Tenresik that I think we read in the Yom Kippur retreat, where we ask Tenresik to protect us from different situations. So he cannot protect us from the situation because that's our karma. We get into these situations. We are asking for protection to remember our Buddha nature and then react as a bodhisattva and not react as a childish being, as they are called. Instinctively with anger, defense, blah, blah, this and that. Okay, so then there's many others, but we just take the jealousy. So the snake of jealousy, lurking in its dark pit of ignorance. Snake of jealousy, does it wake up an image like jealousy, snake, green snake? Lurking in its dark pit of ignorance, unable to bear the wealth and excellence of others. It swiftly injects them with its cruel poison. The snake of jealousy, please protect us from this danger. Jealousy, like other disturbing emotions, stems from the ignorance of the nature of reality. You see, if you're alone and you're not with somebody, you're not thinking of somebody, there's no way that jealousy can come up. You need others, and in order to have others, you need a seemingly self-existent self who is different from others. And this self, we take it for so important. Yeah? Have you ever realized you are the only one who calls yourself I?
Yeah.
Other person. All the others are others. All the others call you, you. And we take ourselves for so important. We'll do the reflection on this to kind of bring it down a bit. And so, yeah, our own views. It's really good to see them. So it ignorantly makes us think we'll be happy if we destroy others' happiness. Like a vicious snake whose venom kills a healthy person, jealousy poisons the happiness and goodness of both ourselves and others. While we say, love thy neighbor as thyself, and may all beings be happy, when someone else has good fortune that we don't, even if we didn't have to lift a finger to bring about their happiness, our jealousy cannot endure their prosperity, ability, or virtue. So, if we help them to be successful and all this, and then they ignore us because we put a lot of effort into it, then we can say, okay, the bad feelings, being jealous. But we didn't do anything for them. They worked so hard to have these, whatever, success there. So kind of, yeah. Our jealousy cannot endure their prosperity, ability, or virtue. Under its influence, we try to demolish others' happiness and success. Such behavior is self-defeating because even if we succeed, we do not feel good about ourselves when we undermine others' well-being. So true. This spiteful jealousy not only lessens our own self-respect, but also keeps us bound in pain, like a snake killing its victim by constriction. Jealousy wrings the life out of our mental peace. Sometimes only the pain of the jealousy itself stimulates us to seek out its antidotes. There, when we become aware how painful it is for us, then we start to wanting to do something, to seek antidotes. Rejoicing in the happiness, talents, fortune, and good qualities of others is the antidote. When others are happy, we might as well join in. When others act wisely and kindly, why not rejoice in their virtue? Rejoicing is regarded as the lazy person's way to create great positive potential. When we rejoice at others' virtues, their kindness, generosity, ethical discipline, patience, joyous effort, concentration, wisdom, and so forth, we accumulate positive potential as if we had that admirable attitude or done that beneficial action ourselves. Since we need to accumulate great positive potential to progress along the path, rejoicing at others' goodness and happiness is definitely worthwhile. It spurs us along the path to awakening and also makes us happy right now. So rejoicing, they say, that's the practice of the lazy. You can even do that while you are lying in bed and you have an immediate relief. Okay, so if you need to quickly stand up and shake out your legs, if you need, we do that, and then we do maybe 10 minutes reflection. I cannot guarantee that it will only be 10 minutes, but that's my intention. For those who go to the toilet, it will last a little bit because there's only 2 toilets. So then when you finish, just come back silently, quietly, sit down. But I will not wait for you. Okay. You sit down again. And then we try to see how big and how enormous we are in reality. Now, I don't know all of you. So again, if you have not good, healthy self-confidence, this might actually increase your kind of very little self-worth, what we're going to do. And that's the danger of talking about these things that can go very deep, although they're very simple, to a big group when you don't know everybody. So this is why I prefer having personal kind of contact with people. That I know what to say at what moment, maybe. Still not know, but I'm big now. secure. Because also the Yom Kippur retreat, you know, it's all about forgiving. And some people have gone through terrible experiences. So then when you hear Buddhist teachings, it's absolutely not helpful. They beat themselves up. So it's very dangerous in a way. And I admire the psychologists who have the courage to kind of dig into people's minds. I wouldn't dare that. I would be too scared, I think, to mess up something even more. I'm not saying you should stop, okay? So it's like, so really, thank you very much for that courage, because they needed therapists at the moment. So be happy with what you're doing, trying to be of help. Okay. Okay. So then you close your eyes, maybe, possible. But you know, there's some people who are used to meditate with their eyes open. But I think for the visualization it might be easier, because I will ask you to visualize. But also, you know, you're free to do whatever you want. That's the nice thing about the Dharma. All of it is just suggestions. You can take it or leave it. You're totally free. That's the nice thing. And then again, we go inside and we try to touch that longing that we have. We just talked about two unhelpful emotions, which is arrogance and jealousy. Try to feel the longing to be free from it, to be good, to be open-hearted, to have the skills. Skillful means, it's called, to really put other people at ease, to really talk to them in a way that will help them to also discover their goodness. Then very important to develop some trust that this longing is my nature calling me, that I could, or I can live these values that we all have spontaneously, uninterruptedly and effortlessly, because it's our nature. You know, like the water is humid, the water doesn't have to be kind of making special effort to have humidity. But if our mind is covered, we have to make special effort. And then try to also feel this need that we have to be special, to be recognized by others as, you know, being able to sort things out, solve problems, have a solution for everything. To be recognized, to be respected, to be valuable. Try to see that we are taking ourselves a bit too seriously. Because as we're sitting in that room, we can think everybody feels like this. Otherwise, we would all be Buddhas or fully awakened. Let's maybe drop the word Buddha, because awakening, enlightenment is available for everybody because it's our nature, it's natural. But then just kind of open up your heart and think that all beings who are sitting in this room, they want the same thing. Try to feel the connectedness, the sameness. And just to see, is it still so important that I am happy, that I'm recognized as being special? Then we go further, we've all seen the cars. People who go to the restaurants, we might not have seen the people, but we've seen the cars. So we know that if there's a car, there's a person. Maybe even more than one, because it's Saturday. So we think about all the people in the restaurant, in the moshav here, in Parmonas. Also, whether they are spiritual practitioners or not, they all want the same thing. They don't want to be harmed. They want to be safe. They want to be well, joyful, and at ease. Then we expand even further, like the whole country, or just include also like the whole Middle East. Full of people. Many, many beings. If we would have to count them ourselves, we wouldn't be able to count them. Can we imagine? They want the same thing as I. Not to suffer, not to be harmed. Just getting on with their life. And as we expand, really put them there. First it was just me. Then the people in the room we can see. Then the people in the moshav. All the beings in the Middle East. Then we think about the whole planet that we call Earth. How many living beings are there? I mean, just humans. Try to encompass them, to really visualize. All these people, like imagine the Earth becoming flat. And all these people sitting there, standing or walking, whatever, all wanting the same thing. Not to be harmed, not to suffer. To have a life enjoying these. Of course, don't go into what those want success and they do a lot of harm. Don't think about that. What stands behind is they all want to be happy. So we have the whole population of this planet, and then you think your mind, or you're sitting on an aeroplane and you go above a part of you. The other part of you is still sitting in that crowd. Can you find yourself in that crowd? And then we can kind of think, realistically, if I look at these huge crowd of people only wanting the same thing, also like everybody wanting the same thing, I am just a tiny, tiny, tiny particle of this huge crowd. And I'm taking myself as so important. Is that realistic? If you're a Buddhist, we are in samsara. I cannot really solve problems long term. Yeah, I can solve them short term. And I can, it's good that we do that. But we can spend our whole lives with solving problems, trying to fix samsara. It will never get fixed. We have to fix our mind. Then again, you know, think about this huge crowd of beings. All of them have the potential to be lastingly happy, to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. But most of them, they don't even know it. Most of them will never have a chance to escape samsara. So we can just think about the four immeasurables, trying to open up our heart, not think about enemy, friend, stranger, all this. Just like instant equanimity, we all want the same. And just, at the beginning, it's just thoughts. Later it becomes attitude. Well-beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. To really feel this very strong wish, not just my loved ones, everybody, me included, me as this tiny, tiny particle in this big crowd. Well-beings be free from suffering, the causes of suffering. Well-beings be able to live that happiness that knows no suffering, which is liberation and full awakening. Well-beings live in equanimity, free from attachment for those that we hold too close, and free from aversion for those that we try to hold distant. And then we start to engage and we think, may I be able to contribute to that? This is the purpose of my life, to develop my own mind, to recognize the causes for all this mess and aggression and suffering we have in this world, which are negative emotions. May I be able to understand them, not to hate them, not to like them, not to embrace them, to see them with awareness, to understand them as the source of suffering, to be able to apply antidotes, to be able to eliminate them, and then to be able to inspire others to start applying antidotes as well, and then guide and lead them to full awakening. And then we can slowly do the dedications, because the same way as we motivated at the beginning, we always dedicate for our gurus. So then, of course, it's for if the word guru kind of disturbs you, it just means master, somebody who knows better than you. So we can call them masters, guides, whatever. For the long and healthy life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, of course, and all the masters who show the true path to enlightenment, may all their wishes be fulfilled. For a world to be free from wars, armed conflict, natural disasters, financial crises, epidemics, and aggression, for relief and help to reach all the areas characterized by conflict, terrorism, crisis, and famine, and also for an economic system that puts more importance on the well-being of the inhabitants and the environment than on profit, and for all the refugees so that they may find stable, adequate places to live, free from aggression and abuse, and then especially for this area, due to the merits of practicing Dharma together, discussing these causes for suffering, may the conditions for peace in the Middle East be established. May all its citizens everywhere enjoy complete freedom from violence, war, and oppression, and may they live in safe environments. May all the survivors not remain traumatized. May they have all the physical and mental resources they need to recover and continue a life enjoying ease. May the remains of the murdered hostages be brought back to be buried in Israel amongst their families. May hatred cease and friendship and mutual respect become the guiding principle of the whole area and the whole world. May all children, women, and the elderly be protected and respected everywhere. May all who have and are dying in this war be immediately reborn in a pure land and quickly attain the deathless state, free from suffering. May all the soldiers and police be safe from receiving and doing harm, and may their actions be according to the law. For all the victims of violence to recover quickly, physically and mentally. May all the politicians and people of the power to make decisions be far-sighted and think about how to create peace, have respect for each other, and being able to live together. May the doctrine of all religions benefit all sentient beings of this world. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering and obtain peerless happiness. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.
Okay, I want only like to thank you from all of us
Yeah.
for the last few months that you've been with us for
Mhm.
today. And may it not be the last time that you teach us. I hope we have the
Yeah.
Conlem.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. You have so many good teachers now who speak Hebrew, who can, who you don't have to tell them, oh yeah, but you don't understand because you're not from here, because they are from here. So you don't have that excuse anymore when they say something. So yeah. But anyway, I'll come back to do Nunes and then for the rest we will see.
So thank you for the generosity and the big heart and being able to bear us.
I learned a lot.
Thank you, and please come again.
I learned, thank you. Yeah, so it's okay. So I can do as if I'm a lama, which I'm not. There you go. Thank you very much. I learned a lot about my own delusions being here. Yeah, so thank you very much for that. It's not a criticism, it's really good. Because I know I have delusions. I know that if I could, I would, if there's a waste paper bin out there, I would throw them away immediately, but I cannot. I have to work with them. And for the moment, it's kind of diminishing them, taking away a little bit their energy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at least it doesn't come out here anymore. So that's a good thing. If I hurt you, or if I said something that is inappropriate because of the situation, it's not my intention. It really comes because, yes, it's true. I don't understand what it means to be Israeli and Jewish at the moment. It's true. I don't understand. How can I don't?
We don't understand.
But I do hope that whatever you think you will better the situation will happen. And don't forget, I mean, even before you were not that happier. So also things, conditions changing outside, wonderful, but we also have to change inside. So don't forget that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.